Hey everyone, here we've got a fairly straightforward identity question, but it's only straightforward if we have our basic, I'll call them squared trig function identities either memorized or we know a way that we can quickly solve for them. So I've written them down here in the bottom left. They all start with one that we should definitely have memorized, and that is sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1. That's just Pythagoras, any point on the unit circle. From there, you should be able to get these next two. The second one comes from dividing every term in that first equation by sine squared theta. If we do that, we get 1 plus cot squared theta equals cosecant squared theta. Then if you go back to the first equation and divide everything by cos squared theta instead, you'll get tan squared theta plus 1 equals secant squared theta. So again, that bottom one is from dividing by cos squared theta, the top, and this one is by dividing by sine squared theta. That's how I remember them. So I don't really memorize all three of them. I just memorize the first one and then know that I can divide every term by sine to get sine squared to get the second, divide every term by cos squared to get the third. Okay, so keeping that in mind, we always want to be on the lookout for squared trig functions in our identity. So as I'm looking at this question and I'm trying to decide which side to choose, I see tan A and cot A on the left side. Can't really do much with those other than break them into sine and cos. But I don't really want to do that because I see my left side also has a cot A in it. Or my right side, I'm sorry. But also on the right side there is a squared trig function. That is the absolute key. The fact that there's a squared trig function there, I'm almost always going to be drawn to starting there. So I'm going to start with the right hand side. And because I always look at the other side that I need to get to, here I've got two terms multiplied to each other. I want to get to two terms added, so two separate terms. Therefore, I'm going to say, okay, I know secant squared of an angle equals tan squared, so I'll rewrite the right side first, times cot A. I know I can rewrite this term as tan squared A plus 1. Times cot A. And again, even if you don't know that that's the right move, we know that identity, so it's worth sort of trying, and that may open up the door. Okay, now I still have these two terms multiplied. Since I want to end up with two terms added, why don't we multiply these out? So it's tan squared A times cot A plus 1 times cot A, which is just cot A. Great, now again, I'm always looking at the left side. I see I've already got my plus cot A here, which is what I want here. So that's got to be good. What's tan squared A times cotangent A? Well, cotangent is just 1 over tan. So we've got tan squared A times 1 over tan A plus cotangent A. Great. Now we've got a squared one on top. Get rid of one of those, get rid of the bottom, and we're left with tan A plus cotangent A, which equals the left-hand side. Great, so that was, again, going through our usual sort of routine with identities. We look at the structure. So I had two things multiplied on the right, two things added on the left, so I knew I needed to basically multiply them out and get multiple terms. I also looked at the trig functions. I didn't want to break into sine and cos because both sides were basically in terms of tan and cotangent. Then the last thing was get drawn to those squared trig functions as opposed to the singular ones, and then use these identities down here to substitute. Hopefully you found this helpful. We've got plenty more videos, and you can always send us a question at info@arnoldtutoring.com. Thanks.